Ooh, my spine. That's definitely not aligned anymore. Hey, welcome to Historically Doomed, where the heroes are angry, the decisions are questionable, and geography never stood a chance. Strap in, because today we're not talking about some ragtag infantry story, not a sneaky sniper tale, nana. Today, we're talking about something big. Meet the USS Wisconsin, a 45,000-ton slab of American steel rage. Basically, if your anger issues got military funding and naval architects got bored. And hey, people in the Navy, they've been whining for years, saying, why do the cool stories always go to the Air Force? Where's our Hollywood moment? Well, congratulations, Navy. This is your story. It's just not your proudest one. This is the story of how one of the largest battleships ever built got poked, and through an epic, world-shaking temper tantrum, not we damaged the enemy, not we disrupted a position, no, we deleted the landmass. So let's rewind. Commissioned in 1944 in the middle of World War II, the USS Wisconsin, BB-64, was part of the iconic Iowa-class battleships, and this ship came stacked. She was a flex. She was a walking red flag for coastal towns. 9, count 'em, 9 of the biggest naval guns humans have ever put on a boat, 16 inches across. Each shell, 2,700 pounds. That's not a bullet. That's a Honda Civic being fired at Mach Jesus. Imagine loading up your family sedan, aiming it at an enemy bunker, and just obliterating it from existence. And the range? Oh, buddy, 23 miles. She could end your existence before you even heard the shot. From one zip code over, heck, from a whole city over. And when those shells landed, they weren't just destructive, they were party crashers. Bunkers turned into salad. Bridges, more like underwater jigsaw puzzles. Forests, the world's fastest lumberjack experience. And civilians named Karen, yeah, flattened emotionally and physically. Wisconsin didn't sneak up. She kicked the door in yelling, "Who ordered the pain delivery?" Fast forward, March 15th, 1952, off the stormy coast of Songjin, North Korea. Here's the setup. Task Force 77, the Navy's big flex during the Korean War. This was the We Run the Sea squad. They flew the skies, blockaded the coasts, slammed anything that looked like an enemy supply line. While fancy carriers like USS Valley Forge sent planes raining death from above, battleships like Wisconsin handled the up-close sledgehammer work. And Songjin, big deal, huge deal, critical railway hub. If you wanted to starve the front lines, you choked Songjin. Then it happened. Boom. The USS Wisconsin, the angriest hunk of steel in the Pacific, took a direct hit. A 155mm artillery shell came screeching in from the North Korean hills and slammed into one of her 40mm mounts. 3 sailors injured. This was a mistake. I mean, really, you don't poke the Wisconsin. You don't scratch the Wisconsin. Inside her, the air went dead cold. Crewmates, jaws clenching, hands twitching, pupils dilating. I know that didn't just happen. No clear coordinates, no fancy radar lock, no spotter planes confirming the enemy's location, just pure instinct. They turned every gun. All 9 16-inch monster cannons swiveled around like robotic death noodles and pointed them towards the vague direction of the incoming fire. They didn't even know what they were shooting at. They just knew it was about to regret existing. Salvo ready, the crew unloaded everything. A full broadside, shell after shell, thousands of pounds of hate, flying through the air like flaming dump trucks with one mission: end the mountain. Eyewitnesses on nearby ships later said they didn't see explosions. No, they saw terrain folding in on itself, like the earth just gave up. Like some ancient mountain god went, nope, I'm done, I'm clocking out. Trees vaporized. Birds flung into low orbit. Goodbye, Tweety. Enemy artillery crew? They probably respawned in a different timeline. Nearby ships calling in like, Wisconsin? You good over there? Wisconsin? She was great, just venting. And that's how the nickname Temper Temper was born. The most unhinged overreaction in naval history. Let's be honest. This wasn't a masterclass in naval tactics. It wasn't a surgical strike. This was pure emotional violence. No targets confirmed, no spotter planes watching, no satellite data, just a gut feeling and several tons of explosives screaming through the sky. To this day, you can pull up satellite images of North Korea, zoom in close to Songjin's coast, and see the crater, a scar where an entire chunk of mountain ceased to exist. That is the legacy of the Wisconsin. You don't injure her, you don't poke her, you don't even look funny at her. Unless you want your local geography permanently edited. Amused disbelief. One sailor later wrote in his journal, "Looked like God hit Control-Alt-Delete on that hill." Wisconsin? Are you guys mad or something? Mad? Wisconsin was having a meltdown worthy of a Greek tragedy, and that became part of the lore. Temper. When being a normal battleship just isn't enough. Choose overkill. Now available at your nearest coastline. But here's the wildest part. There wasn't even confirmation it was that hill. No proof, no photos, no coordinates, just a vibe. And the vibe said, obliterate. That wasn't a strategic victory. That was a 45,000-ton warship having a meltdown at Mach 3. That wasn't warfare. That was a naval temper tantrum on thermonuclear settings. And after the dust settled, after the smoke cleared, after the coastline was permanently remodeled, the world remembered. They remembered temper. Wisconsin didn't just serve in Korea. She stuck around. She saw Vietnam, Desert Storm, decades of world events, all with that same lingering reputation. Sailors told the story like a bar joke. You know, she got hit once and deleted a whole zip code, and that became her identity. Wisconsin wasn't your tactical chess piece. She was your nuclear hammer, your floating rage quit button. Because sometimes, when subtlety fails, you just need to take out your biggest gun, aim it at the closest mountain, and teach geography a lesson. In 1991, after nearly 50 years of flexing on every ocean, Wisconsin was finally decommissioned. She now rests in Norfolk, Virginia, a museum ship, a floating relic of America's try-me energy. Tourists can now walk the decks, touch the armor plating, and stand under the same cannons that made that mountain not exist anymore. And if you're really quiet, lean against the cold steel, you can still hear it. Temper. But hey, what did we learn? Lesson number 1, don't poke battleships. Lesson 2, don't stand anywhere near someone dumb enough to poke battleships. Lesson 3, if you somehow ignore lessons 1 and 2, well, maybe say goodbye to your favorite local landmarks. Because this wasn't warfare. This wasn't tactics. This was a 45,000-ton floating vibe check. Smash that subscribe button, drop a temper in the comments, and let me know which other accidental overkill moments should we break down next. You've been watching Historically Doomed, and I'll see you in the next episode.